All right. Let me see if I can get it right this time. Probably not.
Third time's the charm.
Yeah. Hello. Welcome to Buyer's Remorse. Almost forgot. I've said it 3 times now and I still can't get it right.
Maybe start over.
Buyer's Remorse.
Hello and welcome to Buyer's Remorse. I'm Darren.
I'm Justin.
And on Buyer's Remorse, we like to pick a game in each other's libraries that's got 0 hours played and force us to play the game for an hour and check out if it's an awesome Buyer's Confirmation or a horrible Buyer's Remorse. What's the game that I chose for you this time then?
Poly Bridge.
Oh yeah, I've played Poly Bridge.
Have you?
Yeah, I think so. Oh yeah, I've got Poly Bridge. I hate it.
Interesting. Developed and published by Dry Cactus. The game was published back in July of 2016. Recent, very positive. Overall, very positive as well, with over 14,000 reviews. $10 a base. I know I didn't pay that, but definitely one that I'd been looking at, I think, because of the channel Dangerously Funny. Mm-hmm. I think that he was playing it for a while. So I've actually seen levels that I didn't get to play in my hour. I know some of the things that are coming up, and it looked like a fun, interesting concept. Plus, there's a Portal game which does some similar things. I think not made by Valve, but
yeah, using
the idea of portals called Bridge Constructor Portal, which I've had on my wish list forever. Will I get it? I don't know. Maybe.
I've got that as well.
You actually bought it?
Yeah, I've got it. I've played that as well, yeah. I don't know why I keep buying these games, because I suck at them and I don't like them. It's like that world, what was the one? World of Goo, where you got to build the goo bridges and stuff like that.
Yes, which I really enjoyed for a while, and then I just found I couldn't click fast enough to make things happen. So I think that's one I may have to do on a tablet, because I think being able to tap across the whole screen instantaneously would help with some of the levels.
Yeah.
This is not quite the same, but I do get it's very similar concepts, yes. Mm-hmm. There's a tutorial which starts off even before you see the main menu, just instantly in the tutorial, and the little guy on the scooter is trying to tell you how to make everything happen.
Mm-hmm.
You basically have to fail to learn a number of times. The tutorial makes you fail, which is kind of irritating. Here, put this here, put this here. Oh, that didn't work. See, you should do it this way.
Gotcha.
I was a little annoyed by that, but I did appreciate the fact there was a tutorial, because this game would be kind of a nightmare without it.
Right.
The idea is there's always some sort of gap, and you have to build a bridge of some sort, and everything is just slightly different. So you start off with, at least in my hour, every one of them, you have to start off with the road. I'd say concrete or asphalt, but it's really road, because even the icon, I think, has the road lines, the street lines on it. So you build that, and then you try to support it enough so that it doesn't collapse on itself or under the weight of whatever vehicle is going to cross. And that's the game.
Yeah. Then it just gets harder and harder, and I'm just so grumpy in my old age, man. I just don't like this game at all.
How long did you play?
I don't know. Probably. I mean, I really gave it a shot, especially the Portal one. I really tried, because I was like, hey, it's Portal, you know, and it is fun, but it's like, once I clear the easy stages and I'm feeling like, yeah, this is great, and then the game's like, okay, that was a tutorial, now it's time for the real stuff, and I'm just like, I'm done. I just can't do it.
I don't know, because I've only played the hour. I say I love the first hour. There is just so much fun for me of just experimenting and trying. The controls are really weird. I think that's an issue that could be fixed. Everything seems to be based on what letter it starts with, which sort of works in other games, but in this game I feel like I'm all over the keyboard.
Right.
And I am just constantly looking down at my keyboard to go, all right, I need to hit F to flip, and then V for vertical, and then A for horizontal, and I need to hold shift to move this thing around. But holding shift does not move the whole map around, which it would in every other game, so that's a little confusing. You can just move it around without holding shift.
Right.
But I just felt throughout the whole hour, I was looking at the keyboard the whole time, remembering what key did what, but I, in my head, just couldn't do it without looking.
Do you remember back in the day of like old Commodore 64 games or Spectrum games where the keyboards had spaces between them, and for some games they had like a little cardboard cutout template that you would put over the keyboard that would show you it would like map the keys out for you?
I had never seen that. I've never seen that in my life, but that sounds both awful and amazing.
Yeah, it's like, so the game would come, especially for a really complicated like tank sims. I had one for a tank sim game, and you had this just paper that you just lay out and stick it over your keyboard, and it would tell you what all the keys did, because there was you used most of the board, man, to be honest. There's so much stuff going on. But yeah, these kind of games need that for me, because like you're saying, it's just so complicated. And my problem with these games is I always overload, because it's like, I know what I want to do. I want to build a bridge. Okay, so let's just do this, but there's like weight limits, and it's like you're putting it under too much stress. I'm not an engineer. I'm not a civil engineer. I don't know. Just let me have fun. Let me build a bridge and send a car across it. Stop making my life difficult and saying how stupid I am. I hate this game. I fucking hate this game.
That is the point of the game, though.
I know. And I bought it as well.
I know, but I'm just saying, what kind of game would it be? Oh, I draw 2 lines, and now it's a bridge.
Exactly. Like that game where you you can play it on Google, where you just draw a line and the sled guy just goes down. You just got to draw lines between gaps. Like, have you ever seen that?
I don't think I've played this.
Well, like Line Rider? Is it called Line Rider? Line Racer? Yeah, it's just, you see a hole, you draw a line over the top of it, and then if you draw it well enough, as long as it's not like jutting over each other, as long as there's not a huge overlap, then your sledder will smoothly transition across. It's like, that's the kind of bridge building game I want to play. Not this physics nonsense. Who needs physics? Well, apart from the universe.
I think there is fun to be had, though, especially when you start getting into, I need to make this car ramp over the gap. You don't have enough road, so you have to make it ramp and jump over and build a little platform on the other side so that it doesn't just fall into the water. It's kind of fun. There's the idea, too, of how crazy can I make this bridge? Mm-hmm. That becomes fun. How cheap can I make this bridge? Especially towards the end of the hour, where I started to get things like 6 steel beams, but also as much rope as I wanted. Rope is way more expensive than it should be, let me say. But I did build a crazy suspension bridge out of a lot of rope. The only problem is, and here's a real frustration I have with the game, the car couldn't get over it.
Oh.
The car wasn't powerful enough. I did it successfully, I felt, twice, where it wasn't going to just fall over, because it was one of those levels where a boat is going to go under it, so you have to build this arching bridge.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, the boat just crashes through and your cars plummet into the river. I had a really good one, and I was very proud of it, because it looked like it was going to work, and it was just too steep. The first car couldn't even get onto the bridge, and the game kind of froze and got stuck there. And I had to leave the game or leave to the main menu and come back and start over again. And I couldn't remember exactly how I had done it. So I started doing other things. And I had done it where the first car, the little blue car, goes over no problem. I was like, woo, great. And then the red station wagon made it just to the top and couldn't get over the hump. And the game kind of got stuck there again. And there was nothing for me to do. Maybe it's a small fix. There are all sorts of things like copy, paste, delete different sections. There's probably all sorts of little tweaks, maybe with the shift and just moving all the joints slightly. Maybe I could have made it work. Mm-hmm. But it was just over my hour at that point anyway. And I said, okay, I'm done. This is the second time a car's gotten stuck on this bridge. I'm done for now.
Right.
These kind of games work well for me in short bursts. This is not the kind of game that I'm going to play for 8 hours at a time. But this is the type of game where I'll leave it installed, and every now and then I'll pop in and I'll do a level. Mm-hmm. Maybe half an hour at a time, that kind of thing. I don't foresee myself doing a lot of hour-long sessions, just because it can be very frustrating when it doesn't work.
Maybe just like one level at a time kind of thing?
Yeah, I think so. I was very fortunate. One of our regular watchers, Crimson Albedo, he gave me Humanity. And Humanity is great so far. I've played a couple hours, and it's very much the same kind of thing. I'm happy to come in, do a puzzle or two, and then leave and do something else. These kind of puzzle games are the type where I love them, but I don't love them 8 hours at a time, love them. I think I would just feel too frustrated at that point. But yeah, Polybridge is one of those games where I laughed sometimes when it failed because I knew it was bad.
Right.
And I just wanted to see if I could pull it off. And I know the game lets you do like 50% over your budget if you want, but I was refusing to do that. That one that I got stuck on, I mean, part of the reason I was probably failing was I was trying to just use rope as much as possible because it's the cheapest.
Right.
So I was connecting the rope as many times and ways as possible. And I was so close. If that red car had just gone a little bit faster, it would have made it.
Do the cars have people in them? Do they get flung out and stuff if they crash?
I don't think so. I think they just go with the car.
Because in the Portal Bridge game, it's like a little golf buggy kind of thing, and the people just like fly out of them and stuff. That's pretty fun. I did like the Portal one up to a point, but it's the kind of game that I just like. Just give me a hint button that just places it, and then maybe there's a recharge on it, and then because my point is I don't know where to start sometimes, and that's usually the hardest part, isn't it? Like, because otherwise I'll just be building it wrong from the very get-go kind of thing. Or the wrong materials. But if you tell me, hey, you should be using this material for this, it's like, okay, maybe I'll have a better shot. Or doing like, maybe just watching someone on YouTube, how do they build it? And then just side by side, just do it like that. Because I do kind of like it. Like you said, you're describing all the fun things to me, and I'm like, yeah, that is fun, actually. I'll do like that. But it's so frustrating, man. So frustrating. Anyway, so who are you going to recommend this for then?
This is obviously for people who love physics puzzlers.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure how that falls in because we have some other things we've talked about, like Rock of Ages, which definitely deals with physics. It's kind of like a physics racer in a way. Mm-hmm. It could be for people like that, but I think it's much more for people who love building games, people who love, I think, the profit idea of like how cheap can I make it. I think that's a huge mechanic to it. There's a leaderboard for who can build the cheapest bridge.
Okay.
And that's kind of fun. I think definitely people who don't mind trying the same thing over and over again, because you probably will unless you're a genius or an engineer.
Sounds like it could be used as a STEM activity for schools as well.
Oh, I definitely think it could be. We used to do the build a bridge and see how strong it could be.
Pasta or something like that. And
I've not done the pasta one. We did one out of toothpicks.
Right.
But I know other groups that have, and other like videos I've seen of classes doing that kind of thing. I think it's great for physics classes. Mm-hmm. This is a fun way to do that. I think this is a fun way to get kids interested, or just people in general interested in architecture in a way. I think that we could do something that's not just poly bridge, but poly building and
poly city. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there are all sorts of things that you could do with this, but this is a great starting point. So yeah, I think for anything like that, it's fun, and it's fun in the sort of experimental, let me just see what I can do. I think I'd recommend it to a lot of people. I think basically if you look at the Steam page or wherever you're buying the game, and if it looks interesting to you, then it probably will be. I'm not going to guarantee that you're going to want to play it for 10 hours, but you might. I think it's a type of game where if it looks interesting, it's probably going to be interesting, at least for that first hour. I love that first hour. And because they've put out multiple games since then, this one will often go on sale because they're going to use this one to try and lure you into buying the other games. So this is a great one to start with because it often gets bundled. It often goes on really deep sale. Occasionally, I think they probably give it away for free. If they haven't, then they probably will. Mm-hmm. This is exactly that type of model of, we're going to keep making more and more of this. People love it. Let's get people into it. So if you can get it on sale, definitely give it a try. I don't know. Do you really feel like you got a remorse out of this game?
No, I wouldn't go that far. I can appreciate it for what it is, but it's not for me. It's definitely not for me. I should stop just buying everything, or picking up things that are even when they're free. Still, I'm just no good at these games, and that's fine. That's okay. It's just I'll watch someone else play it. Again, it's one of those things like with the other one. What's the other genre that I hate? Samurai Shogun 2 thing. The Civilization games and things like that. I suck at those.
Real-time strategy.
Yeah, real-time strategies. I suck so bad at those. But watching other people who are good at them play them is fun. You know, I don't mind watching other people do like these cool, huge battles. But for me, man, it's like, no chance. This is why I'm not a general and I'm not an engineer.
So basically, I recommend it to pretty much anyone. I think that this is, of all the clones that are out there, I think this is one of the first ones that was doing this. Now there seem to be a ton of them.
Right.
I think the mechanics in this one, like I said, the keyboard is a bit weird, their choices. But like I said, I do remember what keys do because they named them for the letter.
Right.
And they at least thought that part out.
Yeah, rather than Q to flip or, just... Yeah.
It's not great for my hand. It's not great for immersion, but it's great for memory. So it's kind of the trade-off there. I would recommend it to people, just not you, apparently. And for anybody who thinks that if I build it and it's frustrating and I'm just going to hate it, yeah, maybe it's not for them, but I would recommend this to most people as like, this is a fun thing to give a try.
So, I don't think I'm going to get a buyer's remorse on this one today.
No, this is a confirmation. I will probably go back to this one.
Buyer's confirmation.
Damn. Hello. Why did I say it like that?
I don't know, you've been playing Stanley Parable again.
Yeah. Hello, and buyer's remorse was wondering why he was at his desk. Shut up, Darren.